Hey everyone, Simon here, and this is just a quick line to let you know I'm doing a free masterclass this Thursday, the 26th of January at 8 p.m, all right? Clear the diary out because I want to show you exactly how to start, systemize, and then scale your Rent to SA businesses in 2023. So if you're brand new, or maybe you're looking to really level up this year, I think you're gonna find it useful. So I'll literally just post a link at the top of the description. If you wanna check it out, go sign up and I will see you Thursday at 8 p.m. Plus, I really wanna help you guys. Like, it's a big, big year. We wanna hit the ground running. So I put together a free Rent to SA goals roadmap, which if you fill out, it's really gonna make things clear for you. Come to the masterclass, learn what you need to do, and then let's put it into action. So when you hit the link, you're also gonna get an email with that free download as well. All right, let's get into today's content. When I first started Rent to Rent, my biggest struggle was just getting that first deal over the line. And I'll never forget, it was constant no's. I felt like I couldn't quite get my words out and explain it right. And then even when I did have somebody on board, I couldn't close the deal. And I never ever forget, I was probably about 7 viewings in, and eventually this landlord said, you know what, I like you, I want to work with you. This property is a massive headache. I had tenants just leave, they've trashed the property, they've not paid rent, and he got the keys and he literally threw them at me and said, look, you do it. And I'll never forget, I remember I went back home and I said, Luce, I was like, look, we've got a first deal. I've got my keys. You know, it's gonna happen. Because I'd done the courses and it felt too good to be true, but I tried anyway. So anyway, I never forget, I got quotes for this property, I got my carpet guy around, got my joiner around, I took Lucy around. I think I might have even took my old dears around and was just like, yeah, this is gonna work. And then Thursday evening, about 7 o'clock, I got a phone call from the landlord and he said, look, Si, really sorry, but the missus just doesn't want to do it. And, I need the key back. And right there and then I almost quit because I was just like, I was this close and I just couldn't do it anymore. And on this video, I just want to share with you those experiences. And I want to share with you 5 key challenges that I had when I started and how I overcome them so that you can get past that no. You can overcome the challenges and you can smash it. Because if you get this stuff right, you can create massive cash flow, you can retire family members, and you can have a wonderful and freeing life. Now, before I get into today's content, I've noticed only 51% of you are subscribed to the channel. So if you like content like this, if you're finding value, all I ask is that you hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell right next to it, put all so that you get to know first so you don't miss anything. And the rationale is simple. The more subscribers, the more traction we get, the more comments, the more views, the more time and effort and money we're going to throw into this channel. And as always, it's no sales, it's no gaps. We're not going to tell you some of it. It's just pure value. If that sounds good, do the right thing. So let's get into it. Challenge number 1 is how to pitch Rent to Rent, how to pitch the idea of it. Because if you can't communicate the message simple, then you will never ever sell anybody, because you got to think about it. You are selling a service, and if they don't understand it, how can they move forward? It's like if you go into a shop and you see a product and you don't quite understand it or the problem it solves, you're not going to buy it. So one of the biggest issues I had was, how do I come to terms with explaining it? And the best way of doing this is practice. And it's also you understanding the clear offering. Because guess what? If you don't get it, nobody else will. So what I did was I sat down, I wrote down exactly what I was going to offer. I wrote down my story, okay, so it makes sense when I make the offer. And I did all this as if I was speaking to a 5-year-old, okay? Because that's who you're going to need to understand this. Because some people, Rent to Rent is a really abstract concept and they don't get it. So challenge number 1, explaining the offer. And you need to just spend a bit of time learning this so that when you get asked, you can smash it. So get your elevator pitch right. Challenge number 2, and it is It's something that stops a lot of people. As I said earlier, it almost stopped me, and that's just constant no's. And literally not being able to go past the no. You know, you just feel like, you know, oh, this isn't going to work. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes me. They think my voice is annoying. And you just feel stupid. And then you think, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to do this no more. And that is the worst thing you can do, because you never know, your next viewing could be the one. And once you've actually done a few of these deals, you're going to realize that Rent to Rent 2.0 is such a great service. It's so much better than a traditional letting agent for the landlord. So you've just got to persevere. And just remember, I always remember this, Rent to Rent is not for everyone. But the people it is for, they love it. And it makes sense. Think about it. If you ain't in pain, you don't go and buy a painkiller. Okay, you ain't gonna sell ice to an Eskimo. So don't try. If somebody's not right, just move on. Number 3 is credibility, all right? Like, that was a big challenge for me when I started. I had no property experience. I had no credibility. My business got set up yesterday. I had no website. I had no professional telephone number. And I was just like, but don't worry, I can solve that for you, because I've got a free 12 steps checklist which walks you through how to do this. And the reason I came up with that was from actually me experiencing it myself. So every time I went to a viewing and I got asked tough questions, I went home and I was like, okay, yeah, he said, what's our number? When I gave him my mobile, he looked a bit weird. So let me get the mobile number. You know, she might have said, oh, what's your website? I was like, I don't have a website. So I went back, I was like, oh, I need a website. Okay, certain people were Googling me, they couldn't find me. I was like, I need to be found. So I set up a Google business. So what I do is I formulate all this content for free. It's absolutely free. Grab it. I'll post a link down below for the free 12 steps checklist. So credibility wise, that was an issue for me, but it's not going to be for you, because you can learn from my mistakes. Challenge number 4 is you've managed to come across credible. You've managed to explain the offer right. You've managed to get past the no and turn the no into a yes, but then you don't know how to close. Okay? You just don't know the steps. You know, you don't know the terms that you need to agree on. You don't know your agreements. You don't know the legalities. You can't answer the tough objections and questions. So then you lose it right at the last hurdle. So frustrating. And I had this so many times that I ended up commissioning solicitors, and I've worked intensely over the last 4 or 5 years on perfecting templates. And I've actually recently done an ultimate rent-to-rent agreement pack, which walks you through this with guide videos and assessments and all the templates, educational templates and support, and how to answer those tough questions. So if you're interested in that, I will post a link below to that also. But you got to know how to close. And the final challenge that I found was knowing when to walk away. And what happens is, at the beginning, you're so hungry for deals. You're like, I need a deal. But there is such thing as wanting it too much. So a key challenge that you need to learn to overcome is when to know, actually, this isn't the right deal for me. I'm not the right one for you, and you're not the right one for me, because there's nothing worse than the wrong customer, because you can't do anything right. So the 5th challenge is a bit of a funny one. It's actually knowing when to say no and actually say, you know what, I don't want this deal, and move on. So I hope you found this useful. You know, if you're trying to get your first deal, don't stop. Make sure you join me in the Creative Cashflow Facebook community. There's over 5,000 of us there, all talking about rent to rent and supporting and helping each other. I really appreciate you. If you like this value, just comment below. Just put yes in the comments so I know you're out there. I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Simon, rent-to-rent specialist and mentor. And when I started, I was lost with the agreements. So I've spent the last 5 years perfecting what agreements you need for letting agents, for landlords, for HMOs, for serviced accommodation, and I broke it down into simple steps with videos, guides, scripts, agreements, you name it, and I'm ready to share it with you right now.